Hey Capricorn, how's it going? We're here with a timeless reading. Welcome. The first card that we're starting off with is the World. Wow. Okay. Starting off with the World can feel like a very significant new chapter that's starting. Indeed. Okay. So World. Significant new chapter that's starting. You can also feel like there's a clean slate as well. Like rather than having stuff be popping up, this can feel like a fresh new start, like that type of thing. The World is definitely a very big deal. This will be like the very beginning of a new cycle for you, and it can feel sort of like a portal into that. Having Ace of Wands, this is about the potential of possibility, like what you could do, what you are going to do, what you're intending to do with your energy, sort of what you're inspired to do, and then what becomes of that. Okay. So, because this is a new chapter, you can feel like there's not any like heavy weight of certain aspects of like drama or history that can be involved within this. It can really be like this can be a new slate if I choose for it to be. And it will feel like a new cycle. Having Ace of Wands here shows the potential. An ace is exactly that. It's sort of like a door that opens and you get to basically intend what's behind it. What I am seeing though is the Devil. So what this is feeling like is just a precaution. That Ace of Wands can be used to manifest something that is like really internally like gratifying and inspiring for you, but having the Devil here is like this can definitely go down a wrong path if you're not being mindful of the way that you're using this energy, because an Ace of Wands is very, very powerful, potent energy with a lot of potential. You have the potential to do something with this that you can be like, wow, this really like betters my life, or I'm getting to involve myself in something that I feel like passionate about or interested in. Like this is something that is really like replenishing and motivating to me. And this is something that I care about a lot. It can be like that. But having the Devil here, it can sort of be like the devil on your shoulder being like, use that potential for this. And it sort of can potentially trick you into thinking like, this is the thing to use this for, and then you use that for if you take the advice, you use it for that if you take the advice of the Devil, and then it's kind of like what you were hoping to really materialize and what you were hoping to really get out of that, it's not satisfactory in the least. Having 10 of Wands, but it can be something that would be easier. Like you can use this energy for something that could be easy to use it for, versus you can use it for something that will feel more so in alignment with you, with where you are, more so in resonance with you. Because the Devil can really be a tricky energy where it's like, yeah, definitely like spend this energy or spend this potential on that thing there, and then you do it and you're like, why did I do this? And it will feel like what you were trying to accomplish, you don't end up doing that, and it sort of is like a sad trick that ends up being played with the Devil. But it sort of it brings to light where there can be a part of you, where there's a part of you that's like, that is seeking something, but the Devil can be like, you'll find it if you go down that way, and it's like, that's not really the direction that you're gonna find things within. So as I said before, this feels like something to be mindful of, that there is something coming up that could potentially lead you astray, and to be mindful of that. Now, having 10 of Wands and having the Star, 10 of Wands can just be the pressure that you're feeling based off of what's going on, where there can be a temptation to sort of get off track here. The thing with the Devil too is that, like, let's say that your path splits in two, and there's one way that you know if you go that way, it'll like manifest what you're trying to manifest. The devil will be like, if you take this shortcut over there, you'll get there faster, and like it'll basically be what you're looking for, but then you like end up taking that shortcut, and as I said before, like what you're looking for doesn't really materialize, and you will feel like yeah, there won't be a satisfaction, essentially. Like, it won't actually do what you're looking for it to do. But the devil is like, close enough, you know? And you may take that bait. But there's kind of even a knowledge of, I'd be taking myself down a path that I could have chosen to do this a different way. And one that would actually help me realize what I'm trying to realize here. Having 10 of Wands is feeling like the pressure of sort of that battle between the devil leading you somewhere and then the star leading you somewhere. And the star is about really like a path of purpose for you, where when you're on the path of the star, it feels like you're sort of following the North Star. Like I'm following this thing that's speaking to me from within, like within my heart space and within my third eye, and that's what's guiding me. For some reason, it can be more difficult to follow that path because the devil can be like, you'll see results if you do this sooner, and then you can just have what you want, and then you don't have to put the work in. And the star could be asking you to put in work, but it will really allow you to realize your dreams in like a bigger way. It will allow you to feel like you're where you're supposed to be, and there will be like an inner sense of completion because of that, and fulfillment and satisfaction with like, this may be difficult and it may get hard sometimes, but this is where I'm supposed to be and this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, this is my path and I'm honoring that. The devil coming through can be like, well, again, if you just take that shortcut over there, you'll like pretty much get there, but then it's like not gonna be the thing. So this feels like there's like an easy way out, and there may be like a more correct way of doing things, even though it can be the more intensive thing here. And so it feels sort of like a picking. Are you going to go the route of the devil, or are you going to go the route of the star? You basically can pick what you're aligning with, essentially. A relationship. Yeah, I get the feeling that something about the path that you're on may be like really stressing you out, even though you feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. And so like the devil is sort of seeing you be vulnerable and being like, you know, like, we can have a quick fix for this, but it's something that like, it's not really going to give you that solution that you're looking for. And I do feel like there's a knowledge of this. Like with the devil, it's something that it feels like it can sort of seduce us into doing something by being like, this is the easy way and it'll work to do that, or, you know, this will be less stressful. But you go into it sort of knowing like, I'm gonna have to pay up if I do this, but like, it doesn't tell you up front what you're gonna have to pay up, and it just like never ends up being a fair trade. And again, like, what you're truly looking for, you don't end up finding it on that path, not in a way where you can really hold on to it. And so there's a lack of security within it, and then you feel like you're chasing your tail. And you're like, why did I do this? Like, I wish that I would have just gone the long way and done it the right way, because then I would have actually gotten there. You know, the devil will always be like, it's just up ahead, it's just up ahead, it's just up ahead. And it's like always just up ahead, you know what I'm saying? So it'll be like that type of thing. With 10 of Wands and the star, it's more so like, yes, it can be a lot, but this is really the way to go. This is really the way to do things. And there will be a completion within that. Like, there will be a getting to where you're trying to go with that. Okay. Eight of Pentacles and the Lovers feels like a relationship that you have been involved in. Like a lot of energy has gone into this. So I'm seeing that have something to do with this. Communicating potentially a choice that's being made, but I'm seeing something going on mentally that one may not be in the place to be making a choice right now. I'm saying choice, it may not only be a choice, it can have to do with just the thinking in general. Like having the Devil there above King of Swords. King of Swords is your like mental faculties. King of Swords is your ability to look at something and see very clearly what's the problem, what's not the problem, how to problem solve. Having the Devil there can be like you needing to see through some type of illusion in order to actually problem solve, when the Devil can be coming through and trying to distract you and sort of like kicking some dust in your eye and being like, now figure it out, you know? And then it puts you in a vulnerable position where you could just be like, this is too much. You could be looking for a little bit of an out. Because that's the thing with the Devil too, is that it's coming in to try to resolve something that is going on. So there is something that's being figured out, but the Devil sort of like offers up a solution that is not like long-term, like really going to be the answer. But if you're not mindful of that, like if there's a lack of awareness about that, you can be like, I think that this is the right choice, and then you do that and you're like, I was like blinded by something when I did that. Like I don't know what came over me. It can be one of those times. So it can be, it can just make the process really difficult, because the Devil will sort of like come in the shape and form of something, so it sort of presents itself in a way where it's like, I'll fit this perfectly, like use me, go this way, and then you end up doing it, and again there's like a debt to pay for doing things in that way. But yeah, the Devil can be something that sort of offers up an immediate solution, but you can again know that there would be some type of, you're gonna have to pay up for this. Communication, problem solving, you at your best mentally. The Devil can be something that's going on right now where you're not in your right mind, and you can know that. I don't feel particularly grounded right now, and that's something that you're gonna want to do before you try to like problem solve or be in this energy of the King of Swords. You know, like the Devil can also be the influence of something, or like just an influence, but it can be based in, the Devil will come through and be like, this thing is important, like make your decision based off of that, or like communicate based off of that, and then you do that and it's like that actually wasn't the solution, or like I shouldn't have been focusing on that, like that thing over there was the important thing to be focusing on. It just distorts things. It's like the way that the Devil influences the King of Swords, it's like being intoxicated. And you know, sometimes like people when they're intoxicated will be like, I'm not, and then you see them like wobbling around, but it's sort of like a spiritual, like psychological, mental thing that goes on with the Devil. I mean, of course, like it can actually be like literally like some type of substance, but it definitely doesn't have to be. It can be like thinking that something materially is really important, when this is like an intuitive solution or like a spiritual solution that's going to be needed rather than a material one, you know? It can be just focusing on things that aren't actually the thing that needs to be focused on. Like having you do the wrong work like that. And the Devil also can be like a cutting corners type of energy. Okay. For most of you, this looks like it has to do with some really major stress that you've been facing within a relationship. Something that's been feeling very, very, very stressful. This can be like a marriage, it can be a living situation, can be a dating situation with somebody. It's like something like that. But I'm seeing a lot of intensity. You can also be feeling extremely rigid right now. There can be frustration based off of that, like your idea of how things should be and how they should go. Or this can be your partner. Like I'm seeing a very stubborn energy here. So you can be working with someone that's really stubborn. You can be the one that's really stubborn. Both of these energies can be really stubborn. It can be that type of thing. It's like a dig your heels in type of thing. Before anything is done, though, I'm seeing Four of Swords. So this feels like, let's not try to problem solve right now. Let's actually try to ground the energy, because that's what needs to be done. Let's try to see the big picture here. Let's try to zoom out. I'm seeing on one hand, it looks like somebody may have more so... wow, so interesting for the Capricorn reading. I'm seeing Saturn and I'm seeing Capricorn, and those actually are the two energies, the two first major arcanas that are coming out. So like the most Capricorn energy. On this side, I'm seeing what looks like a Gemini Capricorn energy, and on this side, I'm seeing what looks like an Aquarian Taurus energy. Whoever is, if this is the same person that's the Aquarian Taurian energy, that is a lot of fixed energy. So that can be somebody like wanting to do things, like stay on the same track even when it's become redundant or when something needs to be fixed or moved. Fixed energy kind of likes to get in a lane and stay there, and will sort of not shift lanes unless they hit a wall and cannot go. But if you're just like, hey, you should switch lanes, like they're gonna have to come up against a wall in order to do that. So a wall may need to be placed in order for that thing to actually happen. With the Capricorn and the Gemini energy over here, Capricorn is going to take initiative because it is a cardinal sign. So whoever has a prominent Capricorn placement can be the one that's like, something is going on here that needs to be addressed. And then the Gemini placement, because that's a mutable energy, can be like trying to problem solve and like talk about things and figure it out. But if the Aquarian Taurian energy on one end of things is like somebody's energy and this is another person's energy, one person may be like, this is the problem, we need to problem solve, and the energy on this other side can be like that type of thing. So it can be really hard to work with it, because this can be somebody that's like really set in their ways, really set in their beliefs, like sometimes a little bit like not totally present, you know, like sort of like head in the clouds a little bit with the Aquarian energy is how I'm seeing this. Aquarian energy is not always like that, but it's coming across in that type of way where it's like, it feels like it's like not totally present, where there isn't full mindfulness for some reason. So there can be like a little bit of escapism here. There can be a little bit of just something where I'm seeing the energy not be fully present, but then not wanting to change anything, and maybe even not wanting to look at certain things. You know, too, like Aquarian energy, and I'm speaking as a sun sign Aquarian, both in Vedic and in Western astrology. Aquarian energy, if you are dealing with Aquarian energy, as like all of us do and we all have within us, Aquarian energy can be very, because it's fixed, it can be like, well, my mind is sort of set in this way, and it can be very difficult to change the mind, like once the mind has sort of been made up. And so if somebody's, and same with the Taurian energy, that's another like fixed energy there. One is air and one is earth. So one is like having to do with the mind and the thoughts, and then earth, the behavior that's going to follow, like routines and habits and what somebody normally does. So if these are two different energies and you are on the Capricorn Gemini side and you're working with somebody that has Aquarius Taurus placements, you can be looking at them and be like, you need to look at things because things are not working the way that they are. Like something needs to change here. But they can be like very reticent to change their ways because they believe that they have good reason to be behaving in that way, but sometimes like not able to see outside of themselves to look and be like, maybe this isn't the best way. Like it takes a lot for that viewpoint to be challenged, because these are also people that like they think about why they're doing what they're doing and they have reasons for it. And so it can like take a lot of convincing, and it takes a lot of like an open mind, even though Aquarians are like seen as having an open mind generally when it comes to like not judging other people for the most part if they're in that place with themselves. At the same time, when it's like calling out behavior, can have a really difficult time like taking a look at themselves because of just being so used to doing things, and like that's the way that it works for them. But clearly something isn't working here and it needs to be checked out. But I will say, like with this side of things, with the devil energy over here, this can be like a really right way to do things and a shortcut way to do things that is not actually going to solve anything. And regardless of what happens, walking away and being like, this actually wasn't a better solution, and to not make the mistake of doing that. And that's really what's being pointed out here with this. I do feel like flexibility is going to be flexibility and adaptability on both ends. Because you could have your own beliefs, the other person could have their own beliefs, and there can be a very big clashing energy here where it can be a time where there can be a development more so of the commonalities, less focus on the differences, because it feels like the differences are already coming to light here. So there can be like needing to find a common ground, but this feels like it's going to be pretty slow moving. This process can be, it will indeed be a process, just with all the earth energy that I'm seeing here. And there can also be a lot of thinking and figuring it out and communication. Something good about this is that like having Gemini on one side and having Aquarius on another side, if you put your mind together with this person, you can really do some problem solving here, communication, and to figure things out. But there's also going to be a need, because there's also like Capricorn and Taurus. So it's like you have earth and you have air on both sides of things. But the energy is going to need to be grounded but also flexible. And there isn't any like mutable earth energy here. And that can be like the thing that's needed, because mutable is what adapts. It's what looks and problem solves, and like how do we figure this out? If you have mutable energy in your chart, it can definitely be helpful to lean into that. I just get this feeling of like there's supposed to be a sense of ease in working together, and there can just be a lot of resistance, and there can be a lot of stubborn like, this is my way and I want things to be this way. And if you guys were both in agreement and both on the same page, it wouldn't be a problem. But I imagine that there's like a little bit of differing here, and that's really what the issue is. Like there's something that's like not computing and actually like not working together. Now, all of that being said, to see Four of Swords on the bottom of the deck, this Capricorn Gemini energy can be like, I want to do something about this, I want to fix it. As I said before, the Capricorn energy is a cardinal energy. Cardinal is like what gets the ball rolling. So it can be like pointing something out and being like, something needs to be done about this. It's going to be bringing things to attention, like this is not working. So and also too, like with that side of Gemini is like thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking, and the brain doesn't shut off, and like this is happening and this is happening and that's happening. And then you have this energy over here that can almost be like distant from that, or like not fully engaged, or almost wanting to like not recognize that certain things are a problem. That's how I'm seeing these archetypes break down within the reading. But it seems like you have some type of like relationship with this person, again, like a marriage with them, a relationship with them of some sort, a living situation, a contract, could be working with them. It's like that type of thing. something where there's a lot of like earth stuff that's going on. What the guidance is to do right now is to actually ground and to get into the right mindset mentally before doing anything. So even though there can be a feeling of like, I'm seeing a problem and something needs to be done about it, the advice is for you to actually rest, self-care. You need to ground. That's what the advice is for this. And then there's going to be this sort of, okay, now I'm ready to take this on. And it feels like both sides may actually need that, because it looks like there's going to be a lot of deep diving that ends up happening, and really having to like soul search a bit throughout the process. So it feels like making sure that like you are in a prepared place. You know that you're going to be entering into this. Make sure that you are in a prepared place before you press the play button on this. And that's what I'm seeing be the guidance. Because you are definitely going to get into it, but you need to make sure that you're in the right mindset. This is definitely something where you can feel like there's a very unhealthy dynamic that's occurring between you and another person, and it needs to be addressed so the relationship can heal, so the dynamic can heal, and so things can actually work, which I'm seeing definitely be an option here. Like that is definitely a possibility from what I'm seeing. There's going to be a lot of work that needs to be put in, and there will also be things that come to light. And I think too, there will be things on both ends that you can look at and be like, this is problematic, rather than it just being like one person's fault or on one person's side. It feels like there's going to be a thinking on and like a realizing that this dynamic really takes two to tango here, and that it's not just a one-sided thing. Even though there can be different things that are going on and different things that are being brought to the table, there can be, both sides can have things going on that are not productive. Because the Capricorn Gemini energy can be a little bit bossy. Capricorn can be a bit of a bossy energy. And also the Taurus Aquarius can be like, I don't want to change, like don't call me out. It can be that type of thing. So there can just be a lot of things. And also too, like with the Gemini energy, it can be saying things before it's really been thought through, and being like, this is happening, without really thinking like, is that actually happening? Is this just an idea that I'm having right now? Do I need to think this through? It can just be like saying things without like making sure that you're really clear and knowing what is being said. Like you don't just say anything that's coming to mind. Like really needing to be mindful with the communication, especially within, again, it looks like a partnership that this is involved with. There is so much potential here, but there's potential for things to go sideways and to do this the wrong way, and you're not going to find the solution you're looking for. But there can be what the devil proposed as being like an easier way to solve this, and it's not going to work, versus a more intensive way to actually heal things and solve them, and that will actually work. So do not take the shortcut. I'm seeing Saturn watching over this carefully, and Saturn will really like take everything away if you're not doing things properly. So if there's a part of you that may be like wanting an easy solution here, like one of you or both of you guys, but there's like a better, more right way to do things, you're being encouraged to do it in the better, more right way to do things, even though you can know that it's going to take more energy. It will be worth it, because you'll actually achieve what you're trying to achieve. There can be peace and there can be healing within the dynamic. It is absolutely possible, and things can definitely like move into the future, and you can actually feel a sense of hope for things. But there's a lot of rigid energy that's going to have to be like made flexible. There's just a lot of stuff that's going to have to go down in order for this to work. It just feels like a very complicated thing here. And because this is so intensive, if you're like, let me try to fix all of it in 2 days, and then it's like, why is this not actually working, versus using a very like a method to actually make this work, and something that will be a solid method to making this work, like faster isn't always better, and I feel like that's really being pointed out here when there may be an opportunity to do something like faster, but it's not going to be better. And you will see that it may throw a temporary band-aid on things, but it will not get to the actual problem here. But then you have like another way of doing things that it can be like, this is more difficult to do things this way, but again, it will allow you to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish here with this person, and things can really be functional and healthy in the dynamic. Like, it doesn't have to remain like unhealthy or toxic or however you're seeing it. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing going on here. And as I said before about there can be I want to take care of this really quickly so it stops being a problem in my life, versus I want to actually take care of this so we actually find the solutions so we can actually heal. There's a big difference between the two of those, and that's why Four of Swords is saying like, this is a big thing and it's going to take a while, it's going to be a process. Four of Swords is saying take care of yourself while you're in this process, because this is going to be a marathon, not a sprint, to really address this and address it properly, but it is something that can be done. And for some of you, having Saturn come up here, this is going to be a Saturn cycle for you, or it's going to be something that takes a long time the way that Saturn does. But it's something that if you actually, Saturn has this request, if you put in the proper effort and work consistently and over a period of time, it will give you the gift of what you are looking to accomplish here. But if you try to cut corners, speed things up, not do stuff properly, Saturn will put you back at square one, and you'll just be reset and reset and reset. And how many times do you want to do that? So it feels like you're at the beginning, and that you don't have to keep resetting. You can actually do one time through this whole thing, but you have to do it properly. And that's what I'm seeing here. I think too, like, some anger is going to have to be worked through, because I'm definitely seeing some anger that's here as well. And I'm seeing some like control stuff. So that also being part of things too. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I am sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.